Welcome to Baking Butterly Love. In this video, I'll show you a fun DIY stencil technique for your cake. So I'm using parchment paper here. You could also probably use wax paper, and I am just measuring to cut out a long rectangle that's going to match the sides of my cake. So I'm doing a 6-inch cake here, and then I am using a Sharpie to trace out some leaf patterns. I looked around online just to see some simple leaf drawings. These are not very artistic, but it's going to be more of an abstract leaf cake, so that's okay. Getting a little variety in here, but I don't want to put too much detail into anything because I am going to have to cut all of these out, so I don't want to make it too hard. Then I'm using an X-Acto knife, and I have my paper over a piece of cardboard so I don't damage my counter. Pretty easy to cut these out with a sharp knife. I think it would be a little bit harder if you had to use scissors. These sort of maple leaves that I did were hard but not too bad. Actually, the ones with lots of little round pieces were the hardest to cut out. And I realized this after I did the cake, but if I did it all over again, I would probably do more leaves but smaller leaves, and I think that would look nicer on the cake. So at this point, I realized I did my math wrong and made the whole thing a little bit too long. So I just cut that off, and then I'll have an extra stencil to layer on top. But you want to press this into a cold cake. So my cake is already frosted and chilled. That way the stencil is not going to mess up the base coat of buttercream. Then I have a sort of fall palette of colors. I have some yellow, orange, green, brown, red. And I'm just putting a different color on each leaf. You do want to kind of spread the frosting from the outside of the leaves towards the center rather than from the center out, just to avoid smushing any buttercream under the stencil. And then you can just go ahead and peel it off. And here's my extra little bits that I'm using to just layer a few extra leaves on top of my first round here. And then I just took all the leftover frosting from the colors I had and figured I'd go ahead and pipe a little border along the top here and along the bottom. If you want to know how to pipe these shells, I have a video on that. I'll link it below. And that's it. Pretty easy fall leaf stencil cake. Thanks for watching.